Hi, welcome or welcome back. My name is Yu Wing. You can call me Yu Win or Win. And I'm happy that we get to connect whenever and wherever you are tuning in. So, these videos I have been doing have been for me to speak my truth and to share out loud some of the things that I think of. And it's been a part of a 90-day journey. So if you are just stumbling across this video, you might be curious why I will talk about something about myself and all the sorts. But I do also like to start each one of these videos sharing a practice. And so this one is a newer practice, but something that I picked up from Louise Hay. And so in the morning, once I start to stir and kind of slowly come into consciousness, I will say in my mind, I am grateful for my breath. I am grateful for this day. I am grateful for who I am. And then I will think, I love you. And I will start to name off different parts of my system. I love you, body. I love you, nose. I love you, feet. And throughout the day, I then also have these hourly reminders to check in. And so whenever I do a triple breath, I will follow that up with the same. I love you. I love you, body. I love you, bones. I love you, muscles. And it's just a way for me to acknowledge my body and to be kind to it. And so I share that in case it's something that you want to check out or try. A consideration for a tool in your toolbox. And so I have been reading most of this afternoon and this evening. I am finishing up a third book in a trilogy called A Heart Remembers. And so I will return to it after I finish recording this video. But it's it's gripping. I read the first book many, many years ago, stumbled upon it probably a couple of months ago, if that even. Reread it and then discovered that there were two more in the series. And so it's been quite a journey. Um, and sometimes as I'm reading this book, I'll be struck by some of the language um, and some of the things that they talk about. Um, it's written in a way where you get a perspective and an understanding of each one of the characters. And different characters have thought about love. And so it's been interesting to consider the main character in this book was thinking about how love is where we stop trying to protect ourselves from others. Um, so that was a really interesting thought that was shared. Um, and so I'm still kind of sitting with it. I'm still sitting with the plot. I'm still sitting with the storyline. But I think I think I also dove into the book because I was sharing something with my dear friend. I was asking her opinion about something, and I just, I don't have an answer. Um, and I don't know if I want to share it here. Maybe I will one day, maybe I won't. Um, but probably old habits coming up, um, things that have sort of kept me from sharing what other people might find easy to share. Um, and so I'm trying to stay curious, but I have also dove into finishing this book, which is gripping. So here I am without an answer. Um, I think I will hopefully do some writing tomorrow, maybe process. Um, but I'm curious when you have a question that you don't know how to answer or haven't figured out a different answer, are there things that help you to like unlock or unsettle or kind of move things around for a different perspective? I just wonder. I know I can ask, and most people will not share. And I didn't, you know, start this challenge with the hopes that people would. Um, but maybe it's one of those times where I wish someone I wish someone would comment and share an answer. So, reading the book, thinking about love, perhaps avoiding this question that I'm sitting with. Oh, maybe then I'll also share some other things that I use to cope, even though they're not that sustainable or in the long term healthy. But I think coping, just in case, coping versus healing are two very different things. So I would say that coping is a way to decrease the charge, the emotional charge, or the mental like confusion that a situation can have for you. And so you cope by doing something that helps you to calm down or not think about it or sort of shift the energy so that you can maybe come back to it later or continue on to the next thing that you have to do. And so coping has its place and time. And then healing is actually trying to like shift the energy of whatever the situation brings up. Healing, I've talked in a couple of videos and still trying to figure out what it means, but perhaps it's processing the pain. Perhaps it's shining light or love on an area that, has been hurt. Um, Other different definitions depending on what you've come across. And so you can have experiences and be in situations and cope and cope and cope. But if you don't heal, then it has other ways of ringing its head or showing up or repeating itself in another shape or form. And so, reading hasn't always been a coping strategy. So I hope that is not becoming a habit. I just want to finish reading the book so that I can return it to the library as well. And I had left it for a couple of weeks when I was trying to read my other books. Um, but I think the first time I could really say that I was using a coping strategy was after a major breakup. And that was when I first binge watched TV or something like a movie or series. Um, I felt shocked and distraught by the breakup. And I felt like I could not slow down or stop what I was doing because I felt like if I did, I was going to crumble. It felt that devastating. And so when I had like free, oh, I guess when I wasn't working, when I was, I guess like on the weekend, I stumbled upon, I didn't stumble, I sort of randomly chose to watch the TV series Scandal, and I would watch it for hours and for days and weeks, probably. And I have to tell you, based on the timing, I do not remember anything of the series because I was using it to take my mind off of the thoughts and the feelings that I didn't want to feel, but I have no recollection of what it's about. So that's quite interesting. But then after that, it sort of, and after I moved on and found other ways to heal what was going on, um, I would fall back on watching TV or a movie when something was going on and I wasn't quite ready, or it didn't seem to even have like a resolution. And so around this time of year, I will watch many holiday movies. So I've been enjoying holiday movies uh, the last couple of weeks. Um, I think it sort of just took away some of the heaviness or the burn when my butt got kicked in session. Um, but I did have, some growth in some moments. So I don't think I was using the movies to run away, but just to sort of like take some of the edge off of the emotionality of it. I was like, okay, let me just watch something fluffy and feel good. Um, so that's probably the main. And then the second one is probably, though I've never been super conscious of it, is wrapping myself up in other people's problems and issues and things that they're working on, whether personal or professionally. Um, because if I'm helping someone else, I don't have to deal with my stuff. So it's probably a more subconscious one that's connected to my stress response of fawning. Um, yeah. So that's it. That's all I want to share. I'm gonna go finish my book. I hope that wherever you are finding something that you need or that would be supportive for you. Um, I hope that you believe in love and in unconditional love, and that it's something you can and will experience in this lifetime. Not that you have to do anything to deserve it or to make yourself worthy of it, but inherently because you exist, because you are you, that you are loved unconditionally, maybe by a higher power, maybe by yourself, maybe by others. And so I thank you for joining me on this part of the journey. I, yeah, I totally feel my energy is very different. And that's okay because that's my truth today. If this is the end of our journey together, I wish you well. And if you will be joining me another time, uh, I look forward to connecting to you. And until then, please take good care. Okay, bye bye.